Hey guys, it's Vault again, and today I'm going to show you the best comp to use in order to go 5-0 in your Go Battle League matches. Right here on the left, I'm using Shiftry, Granbull, and Melmetal as I used in the last video. In this first matchup, I see that he comes up with an Altaria, so I immediately swapped my Granbull. Since my Granbull is super effective against Dragon and Flying. And then he decides to swap to Deoxys, and once again, Granbull's probably my best counter against Deoxys, and for whatever reason he does not decide to block, and I'm going to decide to save my shields right here since my Granbull just had a little bit of health. And then I go to my Melmetal thinking I could farm him down, but unfortunately I can't, so I pull out my Rock Slide. And then he decides to block, and I'm not sure why he decided to block since he was already one shot. Maybe he was about to get his attack or something, but he comes back to his Altaria, and I'm trying to get a Rock Slide on him because that's super effective, but he decides to block once again, and he gets his Sky attack, but I still have both my shields, so I block. And then I get my Rock Slide, and that's going to be super effective. And right here, I'm not sure what his last Pokemon is, but it is a Azumarill. And nothing Melmetal has is going to be super effective against a Azumarill. So I just swapped to my Shiftry right here, because I know my Leaf Blade's going to do super effective to Azumarill. And then I still have a shield left, so I decide to block right here. And then I'll be able to get my Leaf Blade right before he gets his play rough again, and I'll win. So this is one of the hardest comps to win against, but this comp that I'm using is extremely good against the meta, as you just saw right there. And I get the victory right here. Here in our next matchup, he comes out with a Clefable, and I'm going to have to swap immediately because that's going to do a good bit of damage to my Shiftry. And I swapped to my Granbull, and I know this is just going to be an even matchup because it's Fairy versus Fairy. And I just try to spam my attack because I know I'm about to die. Maybe he would shield, maybe he wouldn't. I don't know. And he does not decide to shield. And then he pulls out Bastiodon, and I go to my Melmetal, and I try to debate him with the attack off first. I pull out my Rock Slide knowing it's going to do no damage, thinking he would use a shield, but unfortunately he does not. So I'm like, okay, he's not going to block, so I go to my Superpower. So that's going to be super effective against Bastiodon. And he does not block, and which was not a good play on his part. And since I still have two shields, I'm like, I'm just going to block since I know my Melmetal is the best counter against his Bastiodon. And then I get my Superpower again. And he decides to block. But since he has Flash Cannon, which isn't the best moveset for Bastiodon, I'll be able to get my Superpower again, and I'll be able to eliminate him. Now he has Registeel once again, and I know my fighting move once again is going to be effective, and he uses his shield, so I'm just going to farm up a little bit and then use my last shield right here at the last second because I was thinking if I should use it or not. And he has Focus Blast, which is going to one-shot my Shiftry or my Melmetal. So I just swapped to my Shiftry and I used Foul Play, knowing that's going to do effective damage. And I'm fine if he kills me right here, because I have my Melmetal still with my Superpower on it. And anytime you swap and then swap back, it's going to restart how much attack or defense is lost on your Melmetal. And I come back out with my fighting since I already charged some up a little bit. And even a great one does almost half damage, and then I just one-shot him after that. And then here, coming into our next match, I come out with my Shiftry and he comes out with his Registeel. Usually I don't want this for a first matchup, but I'm going to play with it a little bit, and then I get my foul play. As you saw, it was weak connection at the beginning of the match, but it doesn't really affect the match. And then I use my foul play and it does a good bit of damage. And I want to keep my Shiftry alive because usually if I see people come out with a Registeel, I know they're going to have like a usually just straight up meta comp. So I'm assuming they're going to have a water or something. So I want to keep my Shiftry alive as long as possible. And I was thinking on blocking, and then I decided to block. And then I use my foul play again because I know Dark's going to do a good bit of damage on this Venusaur. But he decides to use his shield once again, so no one has shields. And I thought he was going to have Sludge Bomb, but unfortunately he does have 2 movesets on his Venusaur, so he used Frenzy Plant. But that's not truly effective. But I do get my attack right before he's about to swap. So I use Rock Slide, and that does a good chunk of damage. And he gets his attack once again. But it's not gonna kill me all the way. Then I'll be able to get my Rock Slide. And then I'll be able to eliminate him right here. And right here, I'm still not quite sure what his last person is. And it's an Altaria, which is fine. And I go to my Grand Bull because that's super effective against him. And I know one Sky Attack is not going to kill my Grand Bull all the way. So that's good. And then he swaps, and I use my Crunch knowing that's going to be a good bit of damage. And I'm just gonna keep my Grand Bull in to farm him down as much as possible. Because I want to keep my Shiftry alive because he charges up a lot faster. Right here, there's a little bit of a lag spike, but I was still confident that I was going to get the win on this one. And I get my foul play. And then he pulls out his Altaria and is very low already. But I do get my Leaf Blade off, knowing, even though it's not going to be effective, it's just enough to kill him. So, and that's how I went against that comp right there. Here in our 4th matchup, he comes out with Tropius, which is a very good Great League Pokemon. And I really don't have something to counter it like as good as I want to, but it is also like a rare Pokemon and you usually don't see people using it, so. But that does get a bit of damage to him. And I'm going to block because I still don't know what he's using. I assume he's going to have like a Grass, Water, then like a Steel or something, but I'm not sure. And I use my foul play once again. And he decides to block. And I use my foul play once again. And he decides to block it, then he swaps. And I know my Grand Bull's good against his fighting, so I'm going to farm him down a little bit. And I want to keep my Grand Bull in play because I know it's going to do like a decent bit of damage to his Tropius as well. So I'm just waiting for to see what he comes out with. He comes out with a... Okay, so I get my Crunch. And it doesn't do that much damage, even though it does eliminate him. And then right here, I kind of know that I'm going to win the match, just because I still have my Melmetal in the back, and I know that my Rock Slide is going to be effective against his grass. And then I kill him right there, and that's how I win that match right there. And here in our last match, this is the match before I go 5-0, and he comes out with a Skarmory. And this isn't usually a first matchup I want, so I just immediately swap to my Melmetal. And I get my super power before he gets his Sky Attack, which is good. And that does about half damage. Now right here, I'm not sure if I want to block or not, and I decide not to block, just because I know one Sky Attack's not going to kill my Melmetal. And then I get my super power once again. And he decides to block, which is smart on his part. And I'm deciding to block here because I want to keep my Melmetal alive so I can eliminate his Skarmory. And I get my superpower once again. And it almost kills him, but I'm able to farm him down right there. And I see he comes out with a Whiscash. And I know nothing I really have is going to kill him. So I'm just going to let his Whiscash farm me down and kill me. And then I'm going to pull out my Shiftry, because I know my Leaf Blade is going to do super effective on him. And right here, he does not decide to block for whatever reason. And then he pulls out Altaria, and I just immediately swap to my Granbull. And at this point, I already knew I was going to win the game. And right here, I don't even decide to block because I know his Sky Attack's not going to one-shot me. And then I just farm him down the rest of the way, and I get the win. And right here, this is the comp that I used to go 5-0, and I believe that anybody can go 5-0 in this comp. And this is what I finished at today. And we are right about to hit rank 8. So in tomorrow's video, you're going to see how I hit rank 8. Alright, thanks for watching, guys.